Oh, you're on mute. Hey.
Oh, yes. Now let's try that again. Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Yvette Evans, and as Eleanor stated, I'm a part of the Speakers Bureau with AARP, and I look forward to facilitating today's conversation about job searches. I am also a career and leadership coach with over 41 plus years of human resources experience. And I work with those aspiring to find new opportunities, to transition into new career opportunities. And I'll drop my LinkedIn Linktree site in the chat if anyone wants to reach out to me later after the session. But before we begin, we have a few ground rules. First, let's share the floor so everyone gets an opportunity to ask questions and we can learn from each other. This is a judgment free zone, and so nothing you share here gets shared with others. And please silent your cell phones. So let's get started. A little bit about AARP's vision. They are a society in which all people live with dignity, purpose, and are able to fulfill their goals and dreams. We aim to empower people to choose how they live as they age. And we aim to be a wise friend and a fierce defender on your behalf. And so AARP created this Jumpstart Your Job Search Workshop because we are committed to helping you achieve your employment goals, whether you're making a career change out of choice or out of necessity. So let's explore our agenda for today's presentation. In this session, we're going to cover a lot of ground, so I hope you have something to jot down notes. You'll learn about using your skills in new ways, seeking educational opportunities, crafting your personal brand, networking, updating and age proofing your resume, as well as interviewing strategies. There are some resource handouts we will share with you throughout the presentation in the chat. Um, and there will also be a survey at the end of the session that we would love for you to complete. You may add questions in the chat throughout the session, and we will address as many as possible at the end of our session. We recognize that this conversation may generate a variety of specific questions about your own personal job search. And while I may not be able to answer all of those specific questions today, you can get them answered through the AARP Your Questions Answered tool, which we will share at the end. And you can search job related questions through that portal. And we'll talk more about that. So let's begin by letting you know that this is a very challenging time to be looking for a job. Even in the best of times, job searches can be very frustrating. However, there are things you can do to help you achieve your employment goals. And as a modern day job seeker, it's a good idea to nurture your network, which we'll talk about, market yourself, and define your unique value proposition. So, in the coming sections that we'll cover today, we'll focus on these topics, exploring some specific ways that you can take inventory of your current skills, determine which are most marketable for you, and to begin your pursuit for the next part of your career. So, we'll start with taking inventory of your skills. Employers look for skills in two categories: hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills, also referred to as work skills, are those required to do a specific technical job, such as network security, accounting, marketing, data analysis, or graphic design. And these skills are typically learned and are quantifiable. For example, you can earn a degree or certification, or at least point to a course or, on your transcript showing that you've received training in this particular area. Or you can point to jobs you've held that required those skills. Soft skills are more subjective and harder to quantify, such as an ability to communicate clearly, solve problems, manage your time, and to be a team player. And in many ways, these skills, which include your attitude, outlook, they gauge how well you'll fit into an organization. And so employers want to be sure you'll work effectively with your coworkers, your supervisors, and the organization's clients. And they also want to be sure that you can think on your feet and can make smart decisions. So, even with the increased use of computers in the workforce and the recruitment process, human skills are actually still very, very important, even in the virtual working environment. Job seekers want to ensure that you have those soft skills. So, soft skills, as we stated, are very vital. So, let's talk a little bit more about them. Um, you might wonder what you can do to stand out from the competition. So, learning new skills can give you a competitive edge and make you more attractive to recruiters and employers. So, the question we have today is, what are your soft skills? Take a look at the slide that we will show next, and it will list several types of skill sets that you can show. They are teamwork, adaptability, emotional intelligence. Some are listed here: cross-disciplinary training, discernment, empathy, creativity. Some of these might be unfamiliar to you. So here are a few definitions to help you get started. Emotional intelligence, a very familiar word that's used a lot now, is being aware of and in control of your own emotions, having social awareness, and the ability to empathize with others. Cross-disciplinary thinking is bringing together different disciplines and using multiple perspectives in new ways to solve problems. And discernment here is knowing which information to pay attention to and which to discard. So I'd love for you to just take a moment now to think about your soft skills in preparation for adding them to your resume and using them in interview conversations or networking conversations. So I'll allow you just a minute or so to just jot down a few of your own soft skills. You can put them in the chat um, so that others can identify with you as well. We'll just take a moment there to give you to just jot down a soft skill in the chat. Eleanor, do you see any of our soft skills that are being identified in the chat?
Yes. So we have a few answers here. Ability to organize, creativity, empathy.
Yes.
Does anybody
Very,
else want to share?
very important soft skills that you have under your belt there. Remember, soft skills
For
are
sure.
any quality or behavior that um, is a personality trait or a habit, something you have built and developed an expertise in. And they are critical to display on your resume and again during the interview process.
I'll add one. I would say for myself, team player attitude.
Yes. I always say mine is strategizing.
Yeah, I love that.
I call it my superpower.
Eh,
Yes, it's a
it is.
superpower for me because I use it in so many different facets, which is leads me to our next slide on transferable skills. Um, so those soft skills are you're going to find that they are very useful as transferable skills as you are moving and navigating in transitioning into different occupations. And so even if you are a teacher, that doesn't mean that that needs to be your title in your next job. You may want to make note of transferable skills that you learned as a teacher that you can bring with you. So if you are switching industries, transferable skills means that you are redeploying those skills you already have or have developed in one job and using them effectively in another position. For example, most skills are transferable, which is why it's critical to identify them on your resume. Um, so as I said, strategy is mine. I may have used it as a in the human resources area, but let's say I'm going for a project management position. I can very well utilize those strategic skill sets in my project management type of position that I'm looking to apply to. Now, hard skills can be transferable as well, especially technology skills. So, depending on the job you're applying for, you also want to highlight some technology skills like Microsoft Office, Google Suite, any type of software that you think will be useful in that other position. So developing these transferable skills and highlighting them on your resume makes you more flexible in the types of positions that you can apply for. Um, Alternative ways to learn new job skills. So experimental education is one way, and it means learn by doing. So experimental education allows you to experience job specific types of challenges and tasks so that you can obtain the needed skills to be successful on the job. And these can include opportunities such as adult internships, or sometimes referred to as returnships, return to work programs such as Path Forward, Reach Higher, I Relaunch. And to locate these adult internships in your area, you can Google search adult internships or go to any um, job board and look for those opportunities. Volunteering is an excellent way to learn something new and obtain new job skills. It can also help plug gaps in your resume, expand your network, and potentially helping you to become more competitive for a new job. So, though some job volunteer opportunities might be appear insignificant, there are many strategies to volunteer your services and really sharpen and improve your skill sets, as well as gain valuable work experience. And volunteer experience is looked at by employers as very valuable experience, just as paid work. So, traditional volunteer opportunities might include uh, your church, shelters, food distributions, museums, and parks. And even there are virtual and remote opportunities such as tutoring, training or mentoring lower skilled workers, or offering your skills pro bono to nonprofit institutions. If you visit AARP's website, Create the Good Volunteer, there you will find some opportunities that are excellent places to start. So you go to aarp.org/virtual volunteering. And so experimental education and volunteering are just two of the many ways that you can develop and earn these new valuable skills. Additionally, you can earn skills, develop new skills through informal learning options that are outside of the traditional realm of college or university. And so obtaining these new skills informally can really benefit job seekers during their active job search and during the interview process. So at learn.aarp.org, you will find learning opportunities on various subjects. Additionally, you can go to aarp.org/work, where you will find additional job preparation training. You should also consider short courses and certificate programs that are tailored to a specific skill or job function that you have identified through a job posting that you are interested in a certain field. Once you've identified what is needed or what is needed to qualify, you then want to find some short courses or certificate programs that would help you stand out in the qualifications arena. And these short courses, you can find some on LinkedIn, Udemy, edX, or Coursera, just to name a few. And if you already have a degree, consider checking with your alma mater's career service department, as they may also offer workshops and classes on job skills that you could add to your resume. You may even be able to audit some college courses and still obtain certificates, or at least be able to mention it on your resume and speak to it during an interview. So, in addition to the informal learning opportunities we just discussed, colleges and universities also offer traditional education options. And these can range from taking a course at a time for professional development, even if you aren't pursuing a formal degree. So you should reach out to the community colleges. They are an excellent resource to start with when pursuing these types of educational opportunities. They can also be conveniently located to your residence. They are low cost or sometimes even free, and they can provide flexible list of offerings during the day. And there are also community centers in your area that offer trainings, 6-week trainings, where you can learn additional skill sets. Um, Now that we've covered that, let's move on to our next category today, where we want to just encourage you to be your own cheerleader. You must remember that job changes are very common and they're very doable, but having a growth mindset will help you stay optimistic as you do your search. A growth mindset is a flexible mindset. It's the notion that everyone can learn and grow no matter their age or ability. So as you journey through this process, remember that job searching is a journey, not a sprint. And if you can show a hiring manager that you are expanding your skills, it demonstrates a growth mindset, which job seekers strive to have. So adding new skills to your resume is a must do for any serious job seeker. So let's work through your existing social media footprint. There are many other things you can do to mediate this job search. And important is controlling the privacy settings on your social media accounts, avoiding controversial topics in your postings and conversations, ensuring that all photos are appropriate for a workplace to view, and thinking carefully before you post or tweet. Ask yourself, would I want my employer to read or see this? Now, some people say in response to that question, oh, that's just who I am. But it begs the question, how serious are you about your job search? Because that will determine what content you will display to increase your chances of landing a job and not just landing an interview. Additionally, it's a good idea to follow leaders in your field and to establish yourself as a credible and knowledgeable voice in your field by contributing to discussions, posting content, giving comments that are valuable and not controversial. These are all of interest to other federal professionals. So, your online presence can help you or hurt you in your job search. Um, and so, we want to really emphasize this, what we call your social media footprint. One easy way to see what's in your social media footprint is to type your name in a search engine and see what pops up, including photos. If you get anything that you wouldn't want a prospective employer to see, remove it from wherever it's posted, adjust your privacy settings so it doesn't show up in a public search is another option. So, incorporating these strategies in your daily social media usage will make you have a very normal routine to what you're posting. And so, this leads to your personal brand. Just like a big company makes their mission statement, website, and marketing materials cohesive and telling a story about their business called a brand, AARP wants to help you do the same thing. And so this is what they call your personal brand. And part of a personal brand is an elevator pitch. And this is just a short introduction, usually about 30 to 60 seconds, that highlights what makes you unique. It can also demonstrate the value you can bring to a company or an organization. And it's great to develop this so when you are starting to network, you're going in for an interview, or you're posting on social media, you will have an immediate response to the question or statement, tell me about yourself. So think about now 2 or 3 things that you really do well. These will be the qualities or skills that are so fundamental to who you are that doing them is completely natural and organic for you. And once you've identified these 3 things, um, come up with examples of how you've done them in your work life, in volunteering, and even in your day to day life. And so, by using these qualities and examples, it'll be easier for you to share about your strengths, your accomplishments in a convincing way without hesitation, because these are the things that are truly um, real and you believe about yourself. So, for instance, being creative, reliable, and balanced, dedicated, and even motivated are things that you might want to highlight during your elevator pitch. You also want to emphasize um, concrete accomplishments in your elevator pitch, such as I was able to grow the program through team team leadership by 50% without additional budget. So those are things that you can build in so that you'll be ready for these opportunities. Now let's look at an example of an elevator pitch. Roberta's elevator pitch. I'm a sales management professional with a wealth of experience and a history of exceeding sales goals. My clients and coworkers would describe me as reliable and dependable, as illustrated by my long-term relationships and my consistently exceeding client expectations. My tenure with my previous employer speaks to my dedication, adaptability, and client service mindset. So when you look at this example, it's short, it's to the point, and it answers some important questions. Who am I? What do I do best? How have I made an impact? What sets me apart from the competition? And how I can make a difference for this company. That is so key. So, using this elevator pitch example, I want to give you a minute to just think about what you would include if you were writing your own elevator pitch. What are those key skill sets, things you bring that you could write in your own elevator pitch? And you don't have to spend a lot of time on it. I just want to give you an idea of how you should start thinking about these types of preparation for elevator pitch. Because typically, we'll talk about this in a minute, when you go out to network, the thing that gets people uncomfortable is, what do I say? How do I break the ice? And so being prepared for what you can say in those moments will make that experience less awkward. So let's dive now into the job search, the modern job search. Job searches today have changed a lot from the days of printed resumes. I remember those days, and printed 171s and those days. Today's job searches must also be prepared for multiple rounds of phone, virtual, and in-person interviews. And so in this section, we'll review some online job boards, remote and flexible work opportunities, and working with recruiters and more. But as a caution, I want you to be aware of job scams. Wherever you search for new job opportunities, beware of common scams. And the FTC offers this advice for avoiding job scams. First, be extremely cautious about giving out your credit card or bank information. Some swindlers out there will say that you have a job, but you need to pay a fee for job application, training materials, or certification. But once you've given out that sensitive financial information, the crooks can use it to make fraudulent purchases and commit other crimes. And then also beware of pre-screenings. You may see advertisements from companies claiming to be employment agencies that can offer you job placement with major firms if you set up a quick interview with them. And what can happen, unfortunately, is that the people you speak with will collect your personal data and sell it to other marketers, a practice called lead generation. And that's why you should always research a company and search their website directly to confirm their existence and that they are looking for these types of positions. And like I said, in most cases, they will list their vacancies and the application process on the website. So, online job boards are websites dedicated to connecting employers with potential new hires. Employers post off open positions on the job boards, and job searchers or job seekers search through listings and apply online. And some very popular ones are Glassdoor, Indeed, Monster, etc. And new jobs are posted frequently, so you'll want to search each site regularly for openings. Excuse me. You'll have the best results if you set up searches and narrow your search to jobs that are best fit for your experience, your skills, and your goals for your future career. Also, be sure to set up automatic notifications on your favorite job boards so that you can be notified by email of any new postings that are relevant to your job search. LinkedIn also has a very robust job search option as well. Some people like to work with a recruiter. Recruiters can be internal or external to the company, and they help to focus your job search. Recruiters can be industry specific, or sometimes they leverage across different career occupations. And while landing a job through a recruiter can end up being a win-win for both of you, it's also important to keep in mind that the recruiter is typically working for the employer, not you. So make sure you do your homework, that if you choose to work with a recruiter, beware of any claims like the 99% success rate, guaranteed high salary, finding you unposted jobs, and never pay a recruiter to find you a job, because recruiters are paid by the hiring employers if you get the job. If you want to work with a recruiter as part of your job hunting strategy, that's a great idea. You can track them down by using the job website, LinkedIn. You can find recruiters as you go to company pages. You'll be able to identify the job recruiters who work for that company. Remote work has taken a life of its own lately. It continues to be a very viable option for job seekers. However, working from home does come with some challenges, and employers want to know that you're ready to hit the ground running. So having a dedicated home office is the first step that you can demonstrate that you are ready and able to work from home. Hybrid is another work option where you work from home and in the office a percentage of time. But be sure to include any remote work experience you've already had on your resume and also in your LinkedIn profile. List casual experience, which is work you've done outside of a 9 to 5. Maybe it was being a bookkeeper or freelance work, or you were an entrepreneur running your own business. Those are all good examples of demonstrating your independence, and being able to work independently. Additionally, online classes or other remote training can prove that you possess that ability to work independently. Now we'll focus a little bit on networking, connecting, and communicating. Networking may sound daunting, um, and some people find it very anxiety focused, but it just means connecting and communicating with businesses and other people who have information that'll be useful for you in your job search. So if you connect with companies and people in your industry, it can demonstrate that you are engaged with the organization and that you are active in that industry. So let's look at some of the most common ways to build your network. This is connecting with the industry directly is a great way to start because they are like-minded people. Meetups can be virtual. There's an app for meetups, especially these days, as well as in person can be a meetup option. But you can locate some of these opportunities by searching for related topics of your job search or groups that you are interested in. And platforms such as LinkedIn, Facebook, Meetup, that's an app. Eventbrite is an app and a website. Twitter. You can also attend conventions and conferences, both virtual and in person. And something that's not utilized a lot is your alumni events. They are excellent ways to network. Some people are also a part of sororities or fraternities, which are excellent ways to connect and network. Some companies also have groups of network groups. And so that is a very great way for you to join their talent community. You should stay up to date on these Eventbrite and Meetup opportunities because they're constantly posting group meetings online and virtually. So networking through social media is a vital component of today's job searches. Upward of 92% of recruiters use social media to find job candidates. And they also use social media to validate candidates' professional identity and work history. So you want to be visible on the social media. And leveraging these existing connections, you don't want to forget about your personal connections outside of your personal professional life. If it feels appropriate to do so, reach out to neighbors, past coworkers, friends to let them know that you are looking for new opportunities. This is key in addition to making those connections in the industry and on the social networks. Leveraging your existing personal connections is a great way to get started with networking. Don't minimize the value of your connections because you don't know who knows what can help you in your job search. You also never know who they know who might be able to help you land an interview and even a job. And the more connections you have, the better your chances are of discovering that a friend of a friend of a friend is hiring for a job that's perfect for you. And as the saying goes, it's not always what you know, but who you know that will help you. So let's look at LinkedIn next. LinkedIn is now the largest professional networking site in the world, boasting over 1.1 billion users worldwide. If you're serious about finding a job, you need to be on LinkedIn. Don't worry, basic accounts are free, and I'll share some tips on how you can get started with setting up your profile. LinkedIn helps you establish that virtual network and expand your connections beyond just your friends and your family. So on LinkedIn, they have what they call first degree connections. These are people who you know, your family, your friends, your colleagues, and other professionals. And then they have second degree connections, which are the people who are connected to your first degree connections. So both levels can lead to job leads and potential openings for your job search. So having a connection with someone within a company can substantially increase your chances for obtaining a connection, an interview, and even that job. So, the best way to get started in this networking connection on LinkedIn is to create a profile and begin exploring all that LinkedIn has to offer. And once your LinkedIn profile is established, you'll be surprised how fast and easy it is to make connections. So, here are 5 tips for creating the best LinkedIn profile that um, will be sure to attract attention using your brand, your network, and your updated resume, which we'll talk about later. First, by default, your headline will be your current job title, but you'll want to change it to something that also aligns with your personal brand. And then there's a summary section. So when writing your summary, be sure to incorporate those keywords we talked about earlier, your soft skills and your hard skills, because as job searchers or job recruiters search for applicants, they search on those keywords. And so you want to be sure you are adding keywords that are relevant to the field or job that you are looking for. This makes it easier for them to find you. Again, add those specific skills in there, but you only have so many spaces, so you want to make sure you optimize what you say, and so that um, elevator pitch that we talked about earlier might be very useful here in your summary. Another key factor is to make sure your photo is a professional headshot and is relatable to the background picture, that it features only you, not family photos, not friends in your photo, not pets. The background should be professional. And Canva is a app. I'm not if you're familiar with that. It has some great backgrounds to choose for your LinkedIn profile. And finally, be sure to create a custom URL for your LinkedIn page. It helps make it more memorable and easy to list on your resume and other social media platforms. LinkedIn will generate a generic URL that is sometimes a combination of numbers and letters, so it may be difficult to remember it. But you can go in and change it to, and I recommend you just change it to your first and last name. LinkedIn groups and companies on LinkedIn allow you to keep your finger on the pulse of what is going on in industries where you are wanting to stay relevant. So, as previously discussed, you want to connect with groups, connect with companies that have the types of jobs that you're looking for. So, just remember to like and comment, share articles. You can indicate on your page that you are open to work, and there's also a feature that you can discreetly do this so that it's not visible if you are currently working and you don't want your company to know you are job searching. Sign up for alerts and use the platform again to really build relationships strategically. As you create new connections, you don't want to just message someone out of the blue and say, "Can you help me with my job search?" You actually want to build that organic relationship. So you want to message them and say, "Hey, I see you 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 like such and such, or you went to this school. I also went there, or my daughter went there. um, I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing on such and such and the topic you talked about." So you want to do a couple of those organic reach outs, and then broach the subject of job opportunity connection. Now we're going to do our last subject around the resume. Even the most distinguished career can be overlooked because of poorly written and formatted resume. So a resume that is lacking key features to make it through what they call the ATS, or the automated tracking system, is used by most agencies and corporations now. And you can fail to get to the recruiter's desk or the manager's desk if you don't have the knowledge on how to get past the ATS system. So in the chat, can you tell me how current is your resume? Did you update it? If it's within the last month, put A. Within the last year, put B. Within the last 3 years, put C. And not even sure when you've done it last, put D.
Looks like a lot of A, B, A, D. There is one.
Okay, great. Thank you all for sharing. No matter when you last updated your resume, I want to assure you that it's not too late to do it. If you are serious about the job search, you would want to do it. So let's talk a little bit about updating that. As you begin to revise your resume, keep in mind that the average recruiter spends 10 seconds or less looking at resumes. 75% of all online applications will never be seen by human eyes, thanks to the ATS system. So, to improve your resume, you want to focus on a few key things. Begin by standardizing your resume's design. The design must be simple and clean. Don't use fancy fonts, charts, graphs, or symbols, as the ATS system will spit it out. You can add features such as headers and place detailed information in each section, such as accomplishments, core skills, experience, education, and training. Your resume should usually be about 1 page, but no more than 2, particularly for those who have a lot of previous experience. But you don't want to cover more than 15 years of experience. Be sure to use key action verbs in the present tense for your current job and in the past tense for previous jobs. Make sure you go through the job posting and highlight key words that they have used in the posting, and you want to put those words in your resume accurately reflecting your relatable experience. And then you want to focus on quantifiable and qualitative achievements, not just tasks you performed in your job. For example, instead of saying, I process AARP applications for the XYZ system, you want to say, I improved the process for AARP application processing in the XYZ system, resulting in a 10% increase in the referral time to the hiring official. This makes it both quantifiable and qualitative. Remember, this is your opportunity to stand out from the competition. So your resume has to speak for you before you speak for yourself. It's the main determination of whether you get in the door for the interview. So they want to look at that resume first. Let's look at a short video on 5 tips to age-proof your resume.
As an experienced worker, you have years of expertise and developed skills to offer. Unfortunately, age-related discrimination still exists in some workplaces. However, there are steps you can take to help take your resume from dated to current. First, keep your work experience recent and relevant to the job you're applying for. Only include up to 15 years' worth of work experience. Additionally, don't include your graduation or school dates on your resume. This gives recruiters an easy way to calculate your age. Just list your degrees or certificates. On previous resumes, you may have listed a career objective. This is now seen as outdated Instead, you should simply include your job title, occupation, or the job that you're seeking. Today, every resume must include an email address. However, there's a perception that an AOL or Hotmail address is old school. For a professional email address, use Gmail or iCloud. And be sure that your email address includes some form of your name with a limit on numbers or extra characters. If you have well-maintained social media accounts, you can include these on your resume as well. This can give recruiters a look into your personality and confirm that you're up to date with tech. When including your LinkedIn information on your resume, be sure to customize your LinkedIn URL. Because today's world is so technology-focused, you'll want to show that you're tech-savvy. Highlight computer or software skills in your resume, and if you can, discuss how you use that software. Age-proofing and updating your resume can increase your confidence while showcasing your relevant skills in today's work environment.
So using those tips in that's just explained can help your resume stand out to give you a better chance of getting an interview. One last video on acing your virtual interview.
Virtual interviews are becoming much more common, so it's important to know what to expect. In some virtual interviews, you'll talk with a person, while in others, you'll respond to recorded questions. In either case, these tips can help you prepare. Step 1. Test your technology. Check your equipment and be sure it works before the interview. You'll need a dependable internet connection, a webcam, and a headset or earphones. If you're preparing for a live video interview, you may need to download the application software and set up an account beforehand. If it's a pre-recorded interview, the company will send you instructions ahead of time. Follow these carefully. Step 2. Look your best. Adjust your computer so the camera lens on your screen is level to the top of your head. You might have to perch it on top of a few books or adjust your chair height. The idea is for you to look up slightly at the camera, which sends a message of strength and confidence. Pay attention to lighting. You'll want your face to be lit from the front and not the back. If your room has a window, face it or put a lamp on the desk in front of you. Look at what will appear behind you on the screen. Remove clutter and personal items. Since your interviewer will be able to see you, dress the same as you would for an in-person interview, and remember that solid colors look better than patterns on camera. Always look into the camera lens. Don't be distracted by the image of yourself on the screen or try to make eye contact with the person interviewing you. And remember to smile. Once everything is set up, practice with a friend or family member on the platform you'll be using. Step 3. Think on your feet. Put sticky notes on your screen to remind you of important talking points about why you're a good fit for the job. Be prepared with questions to ask and have your resume handy. During the interview, if you encounter technical difficulties or something goes awry, speak up. If it happens during a taped interview, contact the recruiter to explain and reschedule. When your interview is finished, smile and say thank you, while continuing to look at the camera until the recording or interview stops. Interviewing remotely may feel strange or intimidating at first, but following these tips can help you be prepared and ace your next video job interview.
And remember, practice, practice, practice. Now let's talk a minute on tough interview questions. Every interviewee dreads the tough questions, but with a little preparation, you can answer them with ease. Although it's challenging to actually anticipate all questions, let's walk through just a few of them. Why would you want to take a lower salary to work for us? Your answer to that question might be salary isn't the primary reason that I'm interested in this position. I like your company's flexibility. I'm very interested in your benefits package, and I love the mission and work that you do. I'm confident that we can work out a beneficial compensation package. So be sure to address this question by sharing your motivation for seeking employment with this company and how your skill sets will be a direct asset. How would you see yourself fitting into our company? This question could be their way of saying you're older or some other difference. And your answer could be, I've been working with a diverse group for my entire career, and I'm sure I will have no difficulty acclimating or fitting in with the company. You may also want to share your belief that diverse viewpoints often result in greater innovations. Why is there a big gap on your resume? What have you been doing in between your last job and this job is what they're asking. So depending on your situation, you'll need to gauge how detailed or transparent you are with this question while remaining honest and truthful. We don't want to say we've been binge watching Netflix for the last 3 months. But you might want to say, while I've been pursuing my ideal job, such as this position, I've been maintaining and gaining additional skill sets through volunteering at my church, working with a nonprofit organization, taking courses to learn a new language or skill set. And the last example is, you seem overqualified. Why should I hire you? This is often a question which indicates that they do not think you will stay long with the company or you would want to move up quickly. Your answer could be, I believe you should hire me because of the value of my experience that I bring to this position. My extensive experience would benefit your company because it will require less of an investment in training someone with less experience and helping them to adapt to a professional environment. So those are just a few questions, interview questions. So as we close, I want to share a strategy that I walk clients through when conducting a mock interview. It's called the STAR technique. S stands for situation, T stands for task, A stands for action, and R stands for result. So when providing responses, whether verbally or in writing, and describing your experience, always tailor your answer with a description of the situation you were facing, the task you were assigned, the action you took, and the successful result from your actions. So as we close now, I just want to share a few resources. What we've covered today. Updating your skills, seeking educational, networking your brand, and updating your resume. You can also go to AARP website, Your Questions Answered, where you can search for the answers to all questions, even your own specific questions. There's also resources. I don't know, Eleanor may have put some of them in the chat, a handout on the new job search resources, as well as a handout on networking tips and techniques. And there's a wealth of information on the aarp.org/work website. At the end of our session, you'll get an email with a link to a survey. We welcome your feedback on our sessions and appreciate you taking a few moments to complete that survey. This session has been recorded and it will be out on the website as well. And we're at the top of the hour, but I have some time, additional time, Eleanor, if we want to open up for a few questions. Thank you all for coming today. And I'll also put my link tree in the chat for those who may want to reach out to me.
Sure. Great job, Yvette. I have to jump off for another call at noon, but I'm going to hand over the host permissions to you if you'd like to stay on and with anyone who might have a specific question.
Yep, I'm going to stop sharing so I can see everyone.
Okay, let me go ahead and do that.
Okay, perfect.
Make you the host.
Everyone now.
There you go.
Thank
great
you.
job, Yvette. I'm going to jump off, but you did a great job. And I think everybody found this discussion very informative.
Thank you so much for hosting, Eleanor.
Sure.
Mary, your hand is up. Please feel free to unmute. Yes.
Yes. Is there somewhere or someone who would look over a resume to make sure that it's done? Because my resume is like old.
Yes.
And go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I've updated it, but it still has a very old format. And I think that's kind of hindering me in my job search at this time.
Yes. So there are different companies and people who do that as a service, a fee for service. There may be some out there who do it for free. Like with my business, I do it as part of my clientele services. So you can either search and see if there are people out there who do it free, like at career centers. And then there are other people who do it as part of a business, which probably usually offers more than just a resume review. They actually help you, as I do, through the job search process.
Okay.
And AARP may have something on their website through their work program as well.
And
But
is your information available?
Yes, I put it in the chat, the link there.
Okay. Thank you.
Did it come through? Yep, there it is. Linktree/Yvette Evans. Cheryl, am I saying that right?
Yes, you are. I've been trying to transition from, I've been a freelance writer for the last 27 years. And I took some time out to take care of a sick family member, and I'm coming back in. And I am looking for some freelance writing jobs, but I'm also looking for some jobs in the local economy that are part-time. And a lot of what you've given us is great. I can use that, but do you have any particular tips when you're trying to move into a different area? So for instance, I'm trying to move in and get some part-time retail jobs, and I find it difficult to to um, to relay to my perspective to my interviewers that I could fit into a retail situation, because they look at me and go, she's just so corporate because that's everything that she's done. So tips on that, I would.
Can you hear me? Okay. So I would say that every time you are applying for a position, you have to tailor your resume for that position. So if you are applying to a retail position, you can't be heavy on the corporate language in your resume. And so you're going to have to work to transition your resume into a more retail feel, FEEL feeling, because you want to pull out those transferable skills that we talked about earlier and bring them into your corporate position. And that's not saying downplaying your corporate experience. You're just highlighting how you utilized retail skill sets in doing your corporate role. So let's say you were in a corporate field where you had to meet with clients and negotiate matters. That's sales. So you want to talk about it from a sales perspective, not a regulatory, compliance perspective on the corporate side. And so I would say, again, someone helping you with your resume can also help you pull out those things. But the key thing is going to that job posting and looking for those key words that they use in the retail field and plugging them in and tailoring them into your corporate resume. And you're going to see your retail resume application is going to look totally different from your corporate one. And this is where a lot of people get hung up because they don't want to put the work into creating and tailoring a resume for each job. They're like, okay, send the same one to all these different jobs. And it can't work like that. Is that helpful, Cheryl?
Yeah, that's really helpful. So thank you. I will be aware of that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Cindy. Hi, Cindy.
Hi. I was just going to answer one thing to her. One of the things I do is I use Copilot,
Yes.
and you could go into Copilot, give it your resume, and then turn around and tell it, this is the job I'm looking for, and actually give it the job information, and then have it tailor your resume for you.
That is an excellent way, excellent tool. Any of those AI tools will work to do that. I would just say it's a robot, so it
Yeah.
only puts out what you put in. So that's why having that other strategy approach or person working with you can help pull out some other things that you won't know to ask Chat GPT, for example, to do for you. But
But I mean, it gives
definitely
you an
that is a
example.
great start.
Yeah, it gives you a good start.
Yes, for sure. Any other questions? Again, feel free to reach out to me. I have some, when you go to my link tree, there's also some information on how just career searching information. So feel free to utilize that information in your search. Cindy, you have another question?
No, it's just up still. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right. Bill? Hi, Bill.
Hello, I just have a curiosity question. I'm wondering why you use Linktree instead of LinkedIn.
I actually use LinkedIn. So if you go to my link tree, it has all of my social media pages in one place. So Linktree is a free site where you can put your LinkedIn link. You can add your Facebook, your Instagram, your website, all in one place. So you don't have to send people to multiple places.
Yeah, I've never heard of Linktree.
Yes, it's free.
I'll check it out. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's spelled interesting because they put a dot in between tree. So be careful of that. But
Yeah,
otherwise, it's a wonderful free source. There's so many free apps out here to use, even in your job search, that people don't always know about. Thank you for your question. Any other questions? Oh, you're welcome. Thank you all for coming. Look out for the survey on the in your email, and also this recording will be placed on the website as well. And we will be doing this again. I don't know if it's next month or in June, but look out for it if you want to just come and have a refresh or see what new information is available. We'll be doing it again. Thank you all. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
You're welcome.